Can you take us through like what it was like, how big of a superstar and the media attention on Vince when it was like peak Vinsanity? Like, what was that like?
I mean, it was amazing. It was something, again, overnight. I remember, Vince's rookie year in 98 and us coming into the season. He and I both couldn't play at the time because I think it was coming off a lockout, and then we had to sign our contract. So we weren't really allowed to play and practice quite yet, right at the beginning. And we used to go to Eaton Center a lot. Okay. And people didn't recognize it. They definitely didn't recognize me, maybe here and there with Vince, but we could actually walk through the mall. And then maybe a month into the season, no matter where we went, we couldn't go with Vince. Like, if Vince couldn't go anywhere. And it just happened again overnight because of things he was doing. And I remember Vince asked me, hey, man, you want to go to the mall? And it was not enjoyable. It wasn't even cool to hang out with Vince anymore because we were going on the road. It was mayhem. And even in Toronto, I didn't even think about going out with him. So I just saw overnight the media rose up, and Vince just showed out again. And it was just one of those things where, again, overnight, and it was amazing to see how he handled it, right? He didn't come in with all the fanfare. He didn't come in with those high expectations. Yes, he was the 5th pick, I want to say, but he didn't have all the notoriety at that time. And it just happened. And the way he managed it and handled it overnight, it was amazing to watch.
You know what? The way you're describing it almost sounds like Scotty's going through a similar thing. Not to the same level of like, Vince was like face of the league type of like, you know what I mean? But coming in with like not that much profile, but then no, all right, I'm pushing it too much.
Yeah, no.
Okay. I don't think Scotty can walk through Eaton Center either.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this.
It's a different level.
And yeah, a whole different level. Okay. Scotty's a great player, and the world is different now. Everyone, your eyes is on everyone. So, but I've seen little babies, little girls crying, little boy, like people crying to see Vince. I'll tell you this. No one was coming to see Alvin Williams, and no disrespect to any other players, but Vince was selling out the building when the Toronto Raptors played, right? That was it. We're going to see Vince Carter. We're not going to see the Toronto Raptors play. We're going to see Vince Carter and what he's going to do tonight, because if we don't catch it, we're going to catch it on another network. We're going to catch it on ESPN or something like that, the highlights. But it was a must-see game. And again, no disrespect to other players, but I truly believe that Vince Carter wasn't on the team, we might have had about 3 or 4 players along with our family members, or 3 or 4 fans along with our family members watching those games.
Oh, come on.
I mean, just for some...
No, seriously.
For some perspective on what Vince was doing. So obviously, first year, he wins Rookie of the Year. Second season in the league, he averages 25.7 points, 5.8 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.1 blocks. Then comes the big season, right? The one where we're going to talk about the Philly series because we have to. 27.6 points, 5.5 rebounds, 3.9 assists. And we're talking about averaging 27.6 at a time when,
This is like him averaging 40 in today's game, basically.
Yeah. And so let's look at that season now. And, you go into that series against the Sixers and you talk about how he handles pressure and expectation and going up against Allen Iverson, and they're just exchanging 50-point games and going back and forth. What was it like to just be a part of that?
Funny. You're funny. You're a funny guy, man. Vince and AI wasn't going back and forth at 50s. Vince was getting his 50s and AI was giving me his 50s by myself. So, but that was another.
I was leaving that out for you, Alvin.
You said you saw the playoff series. We know the facts. But again, exhausting. That was an exhausting series. I wouldn't have it any other way other than winning it. But, you play a game, come down to the 7th game, last second shot, very ironically and airy, it's like this Raptors, when they beat the Sixers and they came down to game 7, the shot, but their shot went in, our shot missed. And we were on the Sixers home court, but it was one of those games that, man, it was a back and forth battle. Vince Carter going to work, AI going to work. But we had a team where Vince, he didn't succumb to pressure. It felt like it was never pressure for him. It felt like the moment was never too big. We had great leadership throughout that time. And oh my goodness, I'm sorry. And we had great leadership throughout that time. and it helped Vince alleviate some of that pressure and allow Vince to just go out there and play. And that was just one of those back and forth games. The crowd was bananas. Philadelphia has the aggressive crowd. They're in your face, walking the streets in Philly. It was exciting. And then coming back to Toronto, feeling the love. And it was amazing. I remember walking down the street and people were painting their cars half and half Maple Leafs, half for the Raptors. And cars were being painted and walking down the streets, people yelling out their windows. And that was a big time event. That was a big time moment for all of us. But Vince he stepped up again. It was moments in Vince's career early on where there were opportunities for him to take advantage and show the world what he could do. And he stepped up every time.
Yeah. So this is all the really, really good moments, right? And, even that series, the Game 7, the graduation thing has been talked to death. We don't really have to go there unless you're particularly interested. But I think for me, it's like that's the inflection point. After that point, there were still really good Vince moments. He still made a lot of great plays. The team next year makes the playoffs, but you started to see more and more pressure. And when expectations rise, and you just got to rise with them at every single step, because if you don't, and injuries start to catch up, and of course that ultimately he ends up leaving, like that's when you saw like it just turned the other side, right? Because it was one thing when you're like the fan favorite, everyone loves you, and then afterwards, you see the other side of that, which became really ugly. And that's the thing that I don't know, I'm really curious about, because again, I wasn't there for it. Like, what was it? Like, what was it that got so many people to flip? And people still, even to this day, when they hear Vince talk about, I want to go in and represent the Raptors, it's my best years. I love the franchise. A lot of people still holding on to this idea that like, yo, he betrayed us, or I got some negative feelings towards him. What was that moment? Do you guys remember? Alvin, do you remember?
Yeah, it was. I was highly disappointed. I was confused. I understood, the disappointment from the fans' perspective. I understood, you're losing your megastar. You're losing the person that brings you all the excitement. And from a Toronto side, and not knowing that as an athlete at the time, how personal, those relationships were. It's not just for the city of Toronto, it's for the country. And it was like a nationalism. It was like patriotism that you have with this country. It's not just playing for the team. It's like you're playing for the Canadian national team. And I feel like the fans really felt betrayed. I think they were let down, and, and at the time, I don't, maybe that the business or understanding the business of the NBA wasn't, the fans weren't aware of the business. People ask for trades all of the time. Now you just see people demanding trades. It was a time where when I got traded, Kenny Anderson just didn't even show up. Like, I'm not going to Toronto at all. So I understand that disappointment. But it was disappointing to see how the fans reacted and responded to Vince. But I think also it was how well he was doing for New Jersey as well. Like, you're going to leave, and he had injuries and was up and down, and he wasn't playing as well, and he was making some certain comments that rubbed people the wrong way. And then he goes to New Jersey and just turns back up to Vince Carter, right? But he was going through a lot. There was a lot of management changing. It was coaches changing, and the whole direction of the team was going in a different direction that Vince was used to. So I don't know all of the behind the scenes things, but it was really disappointing to see how the team, the fans, and the city responded to Vince Carter when he came back and when he decided to leave.
I think it was just like a very personal thing for fans. Like everyone got so attached to Vince. He was the face, and you're watching like a Ja Rule Ashanti video, and there's Vince jerseys in the back. Like, and Vince is everywhere.
He really was.
He's leading the All-Star voting 4 times.
Yeah.
Like, you don't do that unless you're the top of the top in the league.
Sure.
And he was playing for the Raptors.
The Raptors have had 2 Christmas games ever. One time was when they won the championship. So the next year you got to play on Christmas. That's the rule. And then the other time was because Vince was playing in Toronto. Like, that was 2 ever, man. Christmas game.
And so I just feel like with the way things played out in that final season, to see him say stuff like, oh, I don't want to dunk anymore, and averaging, 15 points a game and shooting 40%. And then as soon as he gets traded to New Jersey, at the time, New Jersey, he goes up to 27 points a game.
Right.
And then, you even think about that return game.
Yeah.
The vitriol,
I remember watching that one, man.
The atmosphere for that game, that's one of, like, the worst atmospheres that has been there for a returning player, right? Mm-hmm. And it was extremely negative. And for him to then also hit that shot, and really stick a knife in the back of Raptors fans.
Was that the same one where him and Mo Pete were kind of like playfully, like kind of slapping each other, but like again, like slapping each other in like a playful way because they're friends.
Yeah, they're friends, and the ref they're talking smack.
Yeah, only caught Mo like actually giving it back to Vince, and he ejected him.
Yeah,
I remember Mo got so pissed off he took out that headband and he threw it in the crowd.
Man. Yeah. And so Vince goes off in the second half, hits that game winner. I mean, I remember watching as a fan, and I just went straight to bed. And I was like, I've seen enough of this. And so I think it just became very, very personal for fans. I think on some level, the segment of the fan base that still feels wronged by Vince, I think on some level they want Vince to kind of take ownership of his part in that. And I think that will maybe clear up some for those fans. But I think on the whole, when you view it, the positives significantly outweigh the negatives. Like, yes, that final season was bad. You would not want that to happen with, someone who was a franchise icon, should have his jersey go up at Scotiabank Arena. But again, when you look at everything he accomplished as a Raptor, I think it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, Alvin, do you think he should own up to anything? Or do you think it's just like he already did what he did and there's nothing more to say about it?
Yeah, I don't feel like anything should be revisited. It's just, and again, I don't know the ins and outs. I don't know what happened in the background. I don't know behind the scenes, but it's a career and you have your ups and your downs. It's a franchise. You have your ups and downs. So I'm sure it's both sides, but Vince was so impactful. And again, that's where I think the hurt and the damage came from others and how they viewed it. But again, you just never know. You just never know what happens. But I don't think Vince should have to go back. If there's some relationships he would want to mend or some things, people he would want to talk to, that would be on him. But I don't think he owes an explanation or anything because, again, he's talked about it before, but maybe he hasn't told his entire side of things. So it would be totally up to him, but I don't think he owes anyone an explanation at all.